Hello and welcome back to Market Vibes by CA Sri Lanka. I am 𝗨𝗽𝗱𝗀𝗀𝗃 and here's your monthly economic update for September 2025. Looking first at inflation, Sri Lanka's inflation measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index was recorded at 1.5% on a year-on-year basis for the month of September. This was against a 1.2% year-on-year inflation in August 2025. Inflation on a month-on-month basis picked up amid a lower base effect and higher prices in both the food and non-food categories. Moving on to interest rates, market lending rates witnessed a slight uptick of 8 bps over the course of the month, resulting in the average weighted prime lending rate ending at 8.05% by end September 2025. The average weighted deposit rate remained at 6.82%. The 12-month T-bill remained broadly stable at around 8.02%. The credit to the private sector continued to improve on a year-on-year basis, with the latest available data for August 2025 indicating that private sector credit grew by 21% year-on-year and 2.5% month-on-month to reach 9.3 trillion rupees. Looking at the exchange rate, the 𝗟𝗻𝗀 remained broadly stable in September 2025 compared to the US dollar. So far in October as well, the exchange rate has remained broadly stable. The 𝗟𝗻𝗀 traded at around 302.6 rupees to the greenback on 14th of October 2025. Gross official reserves were reported at $6.24 billion by the end of September 2025, which is about a 1% growth compared to the previous month. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka remained a net buyer of foreign currency from the market with around $177 million in net purchases during the month. Looking at external trade, export earnings improved by around 4% on a year-on-year basis to $1.28 billion in August 2025. But this was a slight decline on a month-on-month basis of 2%. The year-on-year export growth in August was mainly driven by a 13% rise in agricultural exports and 2% growth in industrial exports. Textile and garment exports remained broadly flat on a year-on-year basis, while food and beverage exports grew by 30%. On the other hand, imports increased by 3% year-on-year but declined 10% compared to the previous month of July to $1.7 billion in August 2025. This was mainly due to higher consumer good imports, which increased by around 57% compared to the previous year, and investment goods saw a rise of 15%. Majority of the consumer goods imports growth was mainly driven by personal vehicle import-related expenditure. The trade account deficit contracted by 2% year-on-year and 29% month-on-month to $440 million in August 2025. Looking at tourist arrivals, the arrival numbers improved by 30% year-on-year in September 2025. In the month of September, the number of tourists that arrived in the country was 158,971 persons, and during the first 12 days of October, 62,741 persons had arrived in the country. The average daily arrivals was around 5,300 persons in September. However, daily arrivals usually start to improve from around November as the winter season commences. Worker remittances grew by 25% on a year-on-year basis in September to $681 million. Looking at capital markets, the positive momentum and sentiment we have been seeing the Colombo Stock Exchange over the past few months continued in September and so far in October as well. The 𝗟𝗽𝗱𝗀𝗁 price index was up 4% during the month of September, whilst in October so far as well, the 𝗟𝗽𝗱 price index has gained further 4%. And with that, we will conclude this month's Market Vibe session. Thank you.